Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Frank's over here. He somehow sneaked into the room here before I came and closed the door, so that's good. Good to have him. This is his happy face. He's cleaning himself. So I'll leave him to it over there. Today what we're doing is going through another poem, and we're doing a series on poems and mindfulness. So this is another poem that has to do with our mindfulness practice. As we know, mindfulness doesn't just encompass or is not limited to present moment awareness, is that through present moment awareness, we also can begin to develop compassion. And how does that happen? Is that as we pay attention to what's happening right now, we find that that's something very difficult, and that most of us find that our mind wanders away a lot, and that we feel that this is something challenging, and then where does our mind go to? So we find that this is challenging, it's hard to keep our minds here, and then when we see where our minds are going, sometimes we get frustrated with the topics that our minds wander to. And what we can do during those times is exercise a bit of self-compassion and to be easy on ourselves, recognize that this is in fact hard, that sitting around and doing nothing is a lot harder than it sounds. And so as we develop compassion for ourselves, something else naturally happens, is that we see ourselves and others and those around us, and we can't help but start to have more compassion for those around us, because 99.9% of us, genetically at least, is exactly the same as the person sitting next to us. So as we recognize not only our similarities genetically, we also see that in our minds, in the operation of our minds, there are a lot of similarities as well. So as I cultivate compassion for myself, it's only natural that compassion for others comes. So this kind of brings me to today's poem, and it really is about self-compassion and that moment of realization when we go, hey, wait a minute, I have been here all along, and I've forgotten myself. And, for whatever reason, maybe I got too busy, or maybe I hardened my heart towards myself. What was it? So without further ado, let me go ahead and read today's poem, which is a favorite of mine, and I've read it many times in mindfulness classes. It is Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit. Feast on your life. So, this is Love After Love by Derek Walcott. As we look at this poem, I think the first major theme that comes out is self-compassion, is that we meet again the stranger who was ourselves, that we, in this case, ignored for another. And as I've read this poem quite a few times, what really starts to stand out in the subtleties is that when when Mr. Walcott wrote this poem, it was a way to help him to let go of a difficult relationship that he and his lover had broken up, and and when what had happened was this remembrance that, hey, wait a minute, I have let me read it exactly. To the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart, take down the love letters from the bookshelf. So, that acknowledgement that, hey, wait a minute, I'm the one who knows myself, and this distraction that I've had, this obsession I've had with, in this case, another person, and it doesn't have to be that. It can be all kinds of things as we examine this for ourselves. I am the one who can be there for myself, and I think that's really where self-compassion begins to show up. So that even though I've been ignoring myself, I recognize that now is the time that I can love myself. That now is the time for me to take care of myself again and not to worry about what happened in the past. I did ignore myself for another for a long time, but now is now, and I recognize that I can love myself in this moment exactly as I am. And by the way, I know myself, right? The stranger who has known you all your life. That's who we're talking about. And that's, and that's something that, of course, I think is really interesting about mindfulness practice, about this kind of self-knowledge that we get about ourselves the more that we practice. The more that I practice, the more I get to know myself. It's this kind of communion that we do with ourselves. And as we focus, and as we lose focus, and as we see these things that are distracting us, and maybe go, wait a minute, that's not important, but then wonder, why is it invading my mind so many times? And so this is why I encourage this kind of daily practice, because it does open the door for communion with yourself, to really get to know yourself better. And as you get to know yourself, what do people say? Hey, isn't it selfish? Isn't mindfulness selfish? Isn't meditation selfish because I spend so much time with myself, on myself? Well, the secret is you can't help but be better towards others when you get to know yourself. And you can't help but notice that a lot of the damage that you do to external things in your life, a lot of that has to do with being a method for you to cope with your own pain and your own inner pain. You can't help it. You feel pain, and so the way to redirect that pain outside of yourself so that it doesn't feel so painful is to direct it outwardly. And that's why we end up inadvertently hurting others, because it's so painful sometimes to admit what's going on inside. And so that's the invitation. Can we tear down the love letters and the desperate notes? Can we give wine, give bread, give back our hearts to ourselves? Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Bask in the you-ness, in all of its glory and all of the pain that's there. Can we open our arms to ourselves as we are right now, and recognize that there is a past version of me that exists inside of the present version of me, that has shaped and has had a strong effect on the me that's sitting here today. So Just read it one more time. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit. Feast on your life. Let's get into our meditation today. So get comfortable. Today we'll combine a little bit of mindfulness practice with some self-compassion and visualization in the spirit of this poem. So just begin by getting yourself comfortable, finding a posture that's going to be conducive of your meditation today. So I would encourage you to sit up straight and tall, bring your back away from the backrest of your chair, something that can allow you to be fully alert, yet relaxed. If you like, you can allow your eyes to close. And turn the attention towards the body. What do you notice about your body? Do you notice any tension in the body? Do you notice any feeling of tightness or bracing? If you do, not worrying about it, not trying to force it to go away, just being aware of it. Seeing if you can become aware of the breathing of the body, the natural breath. No need to take control of the breath, as the body knows how to breathe. 95+% of the time, our bodies are breathing without our intervention. So see if you can just trust the body to breathe. You become the passive observer, just watching, feeling, riding the gentle waves of the breath, moving in and out of the body. Focusing the attention on the breath as best you can. Not letting a single breath go by without your awareness of it. And now I'd like to invite you to bring your attention towards yourself. The you that's sitting here right now. And see if you can open your heart to itself. To love yourself exactly as you are right now. And to remember that there's no special feeling that you need to have as you do this. You don't need to have a warm feeling in your chest. Just trying to bring compassion to yourself is already enough. So see if you can love yourself unconditionally. Befriend yourself. And so often the inner narrative we have for ourselves can be harsh. So maybe trying to bring some phrases of kindness towards yourself to help replace those harsh phrases when we find them coming up. So if you like, repeating after me. May I be happy and contented. May I be happy and contented. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy and whole, to whatever degree is possible. May I be healthy and whole. May I be at peace. May I have ease of well-being. May I be at peace. May I have ease of well-being. And so, with these kind words to ourselves, we learn to accept ourselves as we are right now in this moment. Can you begin to also bring into mind the past version of yourself? So maybe imagining that you're looking in a mirror, and that in the mirror, this version of yourself from the past that maybe you are still at odds with is there. So see if you can imagine that. This stage of life that may have been more difficult. This part of you that even now there may still be some hatred towards. Can you see that version of yourself in the mirror? And so, one, is it possible to accept that this past version of me still exists inside of me at some level? It's here, it's in my memory. It's not disappearing. It's not something that I can push away and make disappear. And this version of you, if you remember, needed love too. So is it possible to maybe imagine that version of you stepping out of the mirror and embracing them, embracing this version, holding them, hugging them, accepting him, and saying, I know you're a part of me. I know you're a part of me. And let's see if we can take this visualization a bit farther as that version of you that you're embracing slowly and gently melts into yourself. And then through this acceptance, through this acknowledgement, we can let go. We know, as we come back to the present moment, that we are no longer that person. That we are the person sitting here right now. We're not the person who was here 5 seconds ago. We're the person who's here now. So with that love, that embrace, that acceptance of past self, remember that as much as they are a part of us, they are not us now. So give love, give wine, give bread to that stranger in the mirror. Say, sit here, eat. Love the stranger who was yourself, who you may have been ignoring. Sit. Feast on your life. So focus for a few moments now on the breath. On the you that's here now. The inhaling, the exhaling. And let's begin to draw our practice to its close. So I'll ring the bell 3 times. After the 3rd ring of the bell, feel free to begin opening your eyes and moving around, stretching out as we transition into the period of the rest of our lives. Okay. Thank you. Thanks so much for being here today. Hope this meditation went well for you. Please feel free to share in the chat what happened, if anything. Any questions or comments about today's poem, or anything that you feel that relates to you that you can share. I guarantee that if there's something coming up for you, that you're not alone. That there's someone in here that has experience in what it is that you have experienced as well. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the chat. Yes, Rachel, Derek Walcott, you have spelled correctly. The other that I loved was also me, but not the me I am now. So that's that's interesting, right? I think it kind of goes directly with the poem. Thanks for sharing. In the past, people didn't just sit around thinking about themselves. They had to work to put food on the table. Well, you know what? I don't think that it's that different. And I mean, I guess it's a technicality, but meditation, we're not thinking about ourselves so much as we are sitting in the present. And, maybe in your country, that's not what happened in the past, but I can think of countries here in Asia that people did more than just work, that there was a dedicated time for meditation. And, maybe the last 200 years has changed humanity quite a lot. Working to put food on the table was different, and expectations change, and what we need to do to be functional members of society changes as well. I think it's something that I kind of brought up a few weeks ago. I was the late adopter of the mobile phone. I remember, I think all of my friends had mobile phones before I did, and it was just that I did not want to be contactable everywhere. I liked the idea of my phone being in my home, so that I didn't have to reply all the time to everything that was going on. Because I think I was resisting this change in society, because I knew that that the expectations of everyone would change over time, and this is just what happens over time, and especially now society is changing faster and faster. Nani asks, can I read the poem again? Sure, no problem. It's Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit. Feast on your life. Jean says, thank you. This is a practice that I'd like to revisit and practice repeatedly. A little reparenting and self-love needed to be practiced regularly, so that it really settles in. Thank you, Jean. And like I say, you're not alone in that. think we all need this. You know, when I led this practice just now, I'm not just leading a practice, right? I'm not as an MBSR teacher, I know that leading practice means dropping into the practice to make the practice more authentic. So it's not just leading. I'm not just reading a meditation script. I mean, I'm not reading a script at all, right? It's really coming from my own experience, and I also am visualizing a version of myself that is, that is neglected and that struggled, and that needs to be accepted, no matter what it was that I had gone through and whatever mistakes that I had made. Can I open my arms and my heart to myself and embrace myself exactly as I was in that time and go, hey, that is a part of me. Can I recognize that? The first step of letting go is acceptance. How can you let go of something that you don't admit is there? So, can I do that? Can I feast on my life? Thanks, Noni. Thanks for sharing. I'm sorry to hear about your loss. Okay. Let's close our practice as we do with some well wishes. I have a few more poems lined up, so I'll be back on Tuesday to go through some more of this mindfulness poetry. So I'm going to do, I haven't decided which ones I'll do next. I do want to read them and do some analysis and preparation before I list those. So I'll get them rolling here soon, so that we'll make sure that we've got a few poems queued up before I take my trip to US. So thanks again for joining. Let's send our well wishes out to ourselves and to each other. Thanks, Matt. So repeat after me if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching and listening wherever you happen to be, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all of humanity, every single human being on this planet, big or small, good or evil, healthy or sick, may everyone everywhere be happy and peaceful. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Have a lovely day or evening wherever you are, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.